All right, today we're going to talk about MediaBay. And MediaBay, you can click this and open it up. And sometimes it takes a little while, especially if you have a lot of sounds. Okay, so this is MediaBay. And it's showing up here. Well, it's showing right here. I have almost 50,000 sounds. A lot of sounds. So this is sort of a great way to organize them. So first, let's look over here. In this area, now I have a lot of drives. We're not seeing them. Let me do this. This is showing all the drives that I have. I have all my sounds on this one drive called Sounds. And that's the reason why that is checked. If it's unchecked, it won't be part of the search engine. If you check it, it'll actually scan it. So if I was to uncheck this and then recheck it, it would actually scan this. Now over here, and we'll get over here later, but you can see hide folders that are not scanned. So I click that, and then I only have to see the things that I have checked. And some of these I have to have checked, unfortunately. So that's pretty much that section. But another thing nice about this, now these are essentially libraries, but what you can do is say, oh, I really just want to look at Boom Library. And then you're only dealing with the WAV files that are in that. So it's kind of nice. Okay, this section. Well, first up here, there are other things that you can add to MediaBay outside of the sounds. You can have MIDI files and loops and track presets and plugin presets. You can have them all also organized in here. Video files and projects. I didn't know that. If you check them all, it'll add them all, or if you just if I'm just looking for a track preset or something, it'll just show those. Of course, in here you can, if somewhere in the metadata it has the name of something, you could put that in there, like guitar or piano, whatever. This there's a rating system. I kind of do it a little bit different. Everything I know I will use, I put on as 5. And if I have potential of using it, I don't really say, well, this isn't as good of a kick as this one. If it's a kick that I would use, they're just all 5. And what you can do here, though, is with this, you could say, I only want to see things. Seeing that just changed it already. So I have 20,000. So there's about 30,000 sounds in here that I just haven't gone through yet. That's why they're unmarked or unrated. So this is kind of nice, though, if you do a rating system. Say, I just want to hear sounds that are 3 and above. But from my perspective, if it's a 2 or a 1, it just needs to not even be there. So this, well, that obviously resets the filters. This is kind of nice. Oh, updates result. This is kind of nice. If you, this will sort of shuttle your results. So if you say, I'm looking up kicks, and I always go to this top one. If I hit that, it'll kind of reshuffle them. So I'll look at different ones. Okay. All right, down here. Now, I don't use this logical one. I don't know as much of how that one works. I use this attribute system. And so here, if you click on this, you can determine what these windows will be to kind of narrow your search. So what I can do is go over here and say, okay, I'm looking for a guitar loop, and I want it to be something acoustic, and you could have a separate subfolder here, but these are all acoustic. acoustic loops. So, like I said, you can name this whatever. I have a styles window. This family name has to do with the libraries, which, you know, again, you could kind of use that too. And this has to do something else. An organization of Project Chaos that I was doing. Okay, so essentially, obviously, here are your results. So let's go to, well, we can stick with guitar. Actually, let's go to bass. Because I want to show you something about this. So basses, synths, and then, oh, kind of loud, sorry. So, this also has gotten reset up. So let me get rid of some of this here. I don't want sample rate. So obviously while we're there, this can determine what shows here. And so I don't know why subcategory and bit rate and all the bit depth are showed up here, because I don't normally have these up here. So you can watch me reorganize this, which will be exciting. I have my own sub. These are things, this various area are things that I have created, and that's what's up here. This sort of type, and then subtype. And of course you can scroll these over, or move them over, I guess I should say. Character, I don't want character, I don't use that one. You see where this says 6, it'll show you that there's 6 in this category. See, I don't need date modified. Family name's fine. Media type, I don't want. Rating, right protection, I'll take that off as well. Musical, character, there's that I don't want. Key and tempo are great. I made my own style and my own categories, so those show up here. So let's go ahead and put styles in there, and we'll put the subgroup in here too. So I don't know why it changes sometimes, but this is how it should normally be. So I go over here. There is a bass synth single note. Rating, type, subtype. If it was a loop, it'd have a tempo, tell you the key. This is the library. It comes from Splice. And I did kind of generally give these sort of style recognitions. If I wanted to say, hey, I'm looking for a hip-hop synth bass, I could, you know, it would just show me that list. I can do it right here. See, then it'll just show those. So now that I have this, what I normally do, if it's a single sound, let's go to this one that's in D. If I right-click on this, I can insert this into sampler track. It'll make a sampler track. It'll put this sample in there, and then since it knows it's in D, it'll put the original sample on a D note, so it'll already be in proper pitch. If it's a loop, often what I'll do synth loop. If you double click it, it will show. It'll go into the session, which is nice. So I don't have to drag it. I just double click it, and it's in there. If I have multiple files like this, and I double click it, all these will be on their own track, and they'll already be tempo synced as a clip on there. Another nice thing, well, let me explain that. So that's the results section, essentially. Now, this section down below, let's go back to a loop. Let's go to a percussion loop. We'll just pick shakers. Okay, so the other thing you can do is I have this area looped. I'm going to play this. Okay, so what I can do is I can preview these against my track to see if I like it. Now what you do, you have to make sure that these are on. So this one is meaning it's gonna, if I ever click on something, it will automatically play it. This one is going to tempo sync it to the project. And this one, oh, I guess it's going to play when I hit play, essentially. So what's kind of cool is, so I'm going to hit play on the project, and it's playing this. And what I can do is preview these. It's not changing it. There it is. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool. So what you can do is, what I do is, if I have, say I have a long list like this. Say I have a long list like this, is I'll go through these. Sorry, let's go to hip hop. So say I like that one. I don't, but let's say I did. So I'll unmark these. And let's just go like this. So say these I liked. So I go through them and I unrate them, and say, because these are the ones I like. And then when I'm done, I'll go over here and hit ratings, and it'll put those at the top, and those will be there for me to double click and put into the session. So very handy. So obviously a preview volume. I told you what these are. This, if this is clicked and I'm previewing them here, it'll just keep looping it. Let's get something short. See, it kept going. Have that unchecked. It'll just play it. Oh. Must be because this is on. Nope, it stopped. There you go. I guess it decided in the session that this is bar 2, and so it's starting here and ending here is what's going on. Okay, next section, this. So, as you can see, the attributes are over here. So whenever I click, let's turn off auto. Let's turn off autoplay. So now it won't play. So, but these are changing, and the attributes are over here. So on tempo, if I double click this, it'll put it in. Style, if I click it, it'll give me a list of things that I have put in. The only thing I guess you can change them over here. I've never done that. I have changed the rating because that's pretty easy. But these I usually change over here. Also, just as a side note, sometimes I have a loop that has a pitch, but it doesn't have the pitch on there. And so what I'll do is I'll right-click this, and I will rename it, and I will add, let's see if we see one. I usually do it in parentheses. Let's go to a key loop here. See, these usually have the pitches on there, but sometimes, once in a while, they don't. Oh, here we go. So this one didn't have the pitch on there. So I right-clicked it, renamed it, and added the G. And the reason I do that is when I put this in the session, this isn't going with it, and I want to know that this was in G. Because when I put it in a session, if my song's in F, obviously I want to change that. Change the, I want to transpose it. Okay, so over here on the attribute inspector, these obviously can be opened and closed, these side windows and the down window here. Over here, this we talked about, basically visual things. Self-explanatory. Okay, on this attribute system, there's actually tons of attributes. If you click this, you can see the long list of them. The things that are checked are the things that will show up, and the things that are unchecked are hidden. This various section is the section I have created, and when you create a section, that's what it'll name it. If you wanted to add something, if you want to add your own, you click that. So I'm going to now add my own attribute. So you want it to, usually want it to be text, but it could be like yes, no, or it could be for a number. And then if I name this whatever, and I hit OK, it would show up in this various section. And then, of course, if you have something highlighted, you can delete it as well. I don't use this. I'm not sure, 100% sure what that is. Okay, so what will happen is this, if I click it once, it'll kind of give me a long list of tempos I have put in, which obviously there's tons. So on this one, I just double click it and type it in. On key, you know, I don't want to do that. I just click it once and all the options are there. On some of these that have tons that I have created, so let's look at this one. There's more. So like if I'm looking for something that's not on this list, if I click more, I can start a search. Let's see, keys. I'll just put keys or key, you know, and those things will show up. So as if I double click it and create something new, then it will now be in here. Usually, if it's recent, these are kind of more recent things show up at the top. As they haven't been used in a while, you have to go in here to get it. Unless something like style, there's not too many, so it does have the full list. So that's how you do it. Let's see if there's anything else. That's how you work with it. I think it's a great tool, and I really haven't used it for, I need to start using it more for some of these other things. Like, you know, essentially you could have the same setup for, let's say, an effects chain, you know, like wacky or whatever. You create a cool one, you could label it in here. And with this various thing, I mean, you could create whatever you want it. You know, if you wanted to just have one that shows, hey, it's a sound, I used it in this project, however you want to catalog it. Anyway, very effective tool. Thank you.